We lived in a tiny, probably 800 feet or less, two-bedroom home that was, I don't remember this, but I was told it was a dugout basement. The home was lower to the ground. And after a few years, my parents had the house lifted up and a basement poured to it. There was a huge yard, 50 by 150, surrounded front and side by a ditch and mud roads everywhere. Your driveway into the yard, or people often had walkways that was a wooden bridge over the ditch to get into the yard. The ditch was full of water most of the year. Everybody, it seems, had water problems because the gumboat soil didn't soak up any water. It sat on top. I was very nearly born in Jasper Place in a ditch. As my mother experienced labor in the middle of the night, the family didn't have a car. They called Gus Fensky, who ran Barrel Cab later, but at that time he was just an independent driver, and he was only a few blocks away, but he ran off into the ditch. And it's the early hours of the morning, and the milkman, who had a horse-drawn wagon, came along and pulled him out of the ditch. So I made it to the Misericordia Hospital, which at that time was downtown, and was born there. I can always remember gumboots. Everybody had gumboots. And when you got older and cooler, you rolled your gumboots down and you had a big cuff around your leg of gumboots. But often you got a boot full because you had to cross places that were full of water. We had an outhouse apparently. No, I'm sorry, we didn't have an outhouse. We had a septic tank with indoor plumbing, but the water again was delivered by a truck to a cistern in the basement. And it all went out to a septic tank. The sewer and water was put in about 1953 to 1954. I remember that because it was my father's cousin's company that did it. So we always would look for him because I had met him and waved to him and watching the roads be dug up and that kind of thing. It was...
Excuse me, do you remember the name of the company?
N.S. Pawliuk, P-A-W-L-I-U-K, and Sons Construction. And the yard was huge. I remember dandelions like crazy everywhere. You didn't even try and get rid of dandelions. There was no point. It seemed like no one had a fenced yard. Very few people had a fenced yard, and if they did, it was a wire fence, much like you'd have to keep the pigs in a pig pen. And people just never thought about going into somebody else's yard. We played in Cuff's yard, and they played in ours, and